Hi, this is Steve from Placebo, and you're listening to Kink FM.
For what it's worth. For what it's worth. For what it's worth. For what it's worth.
Welcome in Rotterdam. You're about to do a show in about an hour, I guess, and you're feeling very ill, I can tell. How much sleep do you get each day?
That all depends. That depends if we do a night drive or not. On an average night drive where we leave the venue and drive overnight to the next place, we usually arrive at like 9 or 10 in the morning. And from that drive, I'll maybe get anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. But if we go back to the hotel like we're doing tonight, then I'll probably get a good 8 to 10 hours if I get to sleep in.
You are one of God's mistakes. You crying tragic waste of skin.
But still not really used to sleeping on the tour bus.
I don't think you ever do, you know, unless you're spending every single night on it, where you can probably get used to it. It's not every single night you're driving overnight. It's like sort of here and there. So you never really get used to the movement of the bus, and it's not bad. It is cozy, and some roads are more bumpy than the other ones, but when you're ill, it's just the worst.
I hear some bands saying it's like sleeping in a coffin. Do you agree?
It is. It's a little more luxurious, I suppose, but actually it's less luxurious. Some coffins are really made up.
How did you link up with the guys at Placebo?
The band that I was in prior to this was an opening act for Placebo in 2006 when they came to the United States. So when I contacted them about drumming for them, they remembered me straight away, and they'd already watched me play and seen my work. They could sort of weed out the rest and was like, all right, well, we know this guy playing, we know him, let's try him, you know, why don't you come over for 2 weeks and just hang out.
Did it take a while getting used to the British and German accents of the other members?
You have to learn pretty fast to figure out when they're taking the piss. But yeah, it took the first 2-3 weeks I was living in London. A lot of my mates, it was really strange. When I first met Alan, my drum tech, he's Scottish. I had no idea what he was saying half the time. I really had to stop and just, what are you saying? But over time, now I got it down. I can understand just about any accent there.
The call to arms was never true. Time to imbibe. Here's to you. I'll tell you stories, bruised and blue.
I guess you didn't even have a drum tech in your last band, so that must be quite an improvement.
Occasionally, some of my mates would sometimes help bring some of my pieces of drum kit to the stage for me to set up, but that was it. So yeah, it's lovely, you know, showing up every day and having my drums, you know, perfectly tuned, you know, all set up, ready to go. You know, he shines all my cymbals every night, you know, new skins, new sticks, and everything's just perfect and ready to go every night. And so I don't have to worry about that. I can concentrate on other things.
You're now in a big rock band, and it has a very big entourage. Do you sometimes get the feeling that you're being lived instead of living yourself? You know, you have a manager who's taking care of all your appointments and arrangements, instead of you doing that yourself.
It's a good question, because you do lose a bit of that when you jump into this world. Yeah, you have so many people doing things for you that you just want to, you're like, no, yeah, I'll take care of this myself. And so people set up a lot of things for you, but you know, you still have to go out there and actually do them. And yeah, when I get home from off the tour, the first thing I do is like, no, you know, I tell my girlfriend, it's like, let me do the washing, let me do the dishes, you know, I'll clean up the house. Like, please give me a project, because I mean, I've been busy, very, very busy, but I'm a handy man. I love to do shit with my hands. Obviously, that's what I'm a drummer, I suppose. But so yeah, when I get home, it's nice to just go to the Tube and just go somewhere and walk somewhere and do this and do this and do this. It's nice.
The Tube. You live in England now.
Yeah, I've lived in London for almost 2 years now.
There are 20 years to go, and 20 ways to know who will wear the hat.
How's that been going? I mean, you are from America originally. How was that transition?
Really well, you know. I think that I was an Englishman in my past life because since I was young, I always wanted to live in England anyway. But I just never had the means or the finances to actually get over there. So once I finally did, it felt like I was home. I was like, this feels more home than my old hometown.
I was alone, falling free, trying my best not to forget what happened to us, what happened to me, what happened as I let it slip.
I asked you earlier about being in a big rock band, and each big rock band has something that's called a rider. You're obviously familiar with it, but listeners may not be. It's a list of requirements that the venue has to take care of. What's the thing that you specifically wanted to have on the rider?
Apple juice. I have to have it after a gig. That's like my one thing that it has to be apple juice. Like I don't want to drink water after a gig. Because you come out and you're really hot and you're like, oh, and you just get a big tall glass of ice cold apple juice, and it's the best thing in the world. And that's one of my things. Nothing too crazy. It's not like an 8-bottle of Coke or 2 bottles of Jameson or anything like that. It's apple juice.
Van Halen thing, no brown M&Ms.
No brown M&Ms. You know, actually, at one point, this is before I was in the band, but one of the most ridiculous things on a placebo rider at one point was no yellow could be seen by the band at any time. If there was any yellow, you'd have to paint it up. And they did it just to mess with the venues, to see how far they would do. And they would show up, and there'd be these people frantically painting walls and shit. And so it's like, because the band see yellow going home, there's no show. And so that was really, really funny.
I've got a last question, and it's a bit I do with my interviews. I would like to know, at your funeral, what would the last record be that you would ever want to hear in your life?
The whole record or a song? A Little Help from My Friends for the song. And for the album, I think I would pick... That's a tough one. It is, because there's so many records I would totally want to be played. Okay, I'm going to go with Death Cab for Cutie, the photo album.